It is that time again. Welcome back to round 4 of GGS. What does GGS stand for? I'm glad you asked. For those new to the series, I love searching for underrated gem anime. So for this series, I look back at the recently finished airing seasonal anime, pick one that gets little to no recognition, and watch it. After watching the anime, I determine what category the show falls into. Gem, garbage, or something in between. That's what GGS stands for. Basically, I'm saying whether it's worth watching at all. In this next installment of GGS, I'm going back to a previous contestant, Synduality Noir, since part 2 finished airing. In part 1, I said that Synduality Noir is unrefined and unpolished, but it had the potential to become much better, since much of it was used as a setup for the next installment. Let's see if Synduality Noir actually reaches its potential, or does it fall flat? For those who do not know the story, I do talk about it in the first video, which I'll leave pinned, but here's a very quick synopsis. Synduality Noir is set in the future where the remnants of humanity attempt to survive in scattered dome-like settlements. Life is difficult, rain is toxic, and hostile alien-like creatures named Enders attack humans. In order to survive, some humans pilot mechs with the help of androids named Magus. These humans who risk their lives piloting mechs are called drifters. We follow Kaneda, who stumbles across a powerful Type 0 Magus named Noir, who has some type of connection to Histoir. Claimed to be paradise, Histoir is a legendary place which nobody can confirm the existence of or its whereabouts, but is said to have the potential to help humanity return to its former glory. Reaching Histoir is Kaneda's dream, and thanks to finding Noir, he may finally be able to accomplish it. Throughout part 1 of Synduality Noir, we see Kaneda grow as a drifter as he uncovers the truth of Histoir, as well as others who are interested in its existence, a shadowy underground organization known as Ideal. Thanks to the friends Kaneda has made along the way, and Noir potentially being the key to Histoir, will they be able to find the fabled location? The general world building and story of Synduality Noir Part 1 was pretty solid, giving a good overview of humanity's situation. The action was solid, and certain characters like Tokio, Ciel, and Macht were good and enjoyable as well. It also did a good job with music selection and inserting some decent comedy relief here and there. For part 2, I was hoping for several things. First, I wanted more depth added to Kaneda and Noir. It's never a great sign that 2 of the main characters are weaker links within the series. Neither of them were terrible, but at the same time, they weren't very interesting either, being pretty bare bones and basic overall. With more time, they could become better. I also hope that Histoir would be expanded upon as well as Ideal. Part 2 of Synduality Noir picks up where part 1 finished, with Mystere now being in control of Noir's body. Mystere thinks that Noir is a safe mode built into her that she can repair herself while still allowing her to be useful to her master. Now that Mystere has repaired enough, she can freely swap back and forth with Noir. However, she still needs to continue patching her memories through these repairs. Mystere adds mystery and a new element within the show. As a character, she's also somebody that's far more interesting than Noir. What we eventually learn is that Noir is data from Histoir. Histoir is constantly moving in space, but now with her knowledge, they are able to pinpoint where it's located. The next question is, what is located within Histoir? It is a giant archive of Earth containing records of human history, culture, technology, and genetic data. With its knowledge, Histoir can aid in reviving anything with time. Now you understand just why Ideal goes to great lengths trying to capture it. With this knowledge, Kaneda and his friends rally together, getting the necessary resources to launch into space while also fighting back Ideal and their leader, Weisheit. Weisheit has a noble goal of wanting to restore humanity to its former glory, but with an obviously evil twist. He hates that humanity is completely reliant on Magus by treating them as friends, and fears that that reliance will lead to a repeat of humanity's downfall. Weisheit places zero faith in Magus and is utterly repulsed by them, hating that they are non-human, but still parade around in human form. This hatred even extends to his own personal Magus, Ciel. What I find cool was that even though Magus are always seen aiding drifters with their mechs, Weisheit's philosophy towards them does not waver. He does not use one. In fact, he seems even more skilled than people who do use Magus, showcasing his strength in a 3v1 fight at the end of the anime. Weisheit plans on destroying all Magus and placing the future of humanity solely in human hands. He accomplishes this, albeit temporarily. After acknowledging his defeat, he trusts that Kaneda and company can make his original dream, humanity being restored to its former glory, a reality as he floats away in space, pondering where it all went wrong and also presumably dying. I really liked what Synduality Noir did with a couple of characters. First, I really liked Ciel. Not only did she have to make a difficult choice whether or not to kill Kanata, which she doesn't, but then she doubled down on her decision by giving up her own life so that Noir could live, ultimately helping Kanata out. Kanata is the polar opposite of Weisheit, caring about Magus despite them not being human, which made her fall in love with him. She finally found somebody who cares about her and isn't just using her for their own benefit. Throughout the show, she struggles making this decision to choose Kanata or Weisheit, but finally builds up enough resolve to accomplish it, doing what she knows to be right. When she refused the reboot forced upon her by Weisheit, she knew that it meant death, but still did it anyway. That scene specifically was the best within Synduality Noir. The show took a risk eliminating one of its better characters, and I think they did it at the perfect time. Next up is Tokio. His backstory and storyline in general was enjoyable, learning that he grew up with and was friends with both Weisheit and Macht. The mystery surrounding his origins and what he plans on doing made the show more intriguing. In fact, learning about Ideal's origins in general was also pretty enjoyable. And finally, Macht. Similar to Ciel, Macht has an internal struggle that he must overcome. He wants what is best for humanity's future, but is torn on how he should go about accomplishing it. He does agree with Weisheit that they should seek out Histoire and restore humanity, but doesn't agree with his ideas on Magus, thinking they are friends, not tools to humans. For much of the anime, he is blindly following orders and not thinking for himself. Eventually, being stuck at a fork in the road, Macht must make a decision to either continue blindly following Weisheit or to listen to Tokio, to take off the mask and see the world for himself. Seeing all these above grounders, as they are called, being so resolute, started to change Macht's mind. When Tokio originally escaped from Ideal's clutches, Macht wanted to take his hand to go with him, but ultimately was hesitant, going with the safer option. Years later, after Tokio's pleading and Weisheit's actions, he finally makes up his mind. Macht is able to see that humanity isn't in that bad of a position actually. Humans are enjoying life and slowly building back, thanks to the help of Magus. I really liked Macht's internal struggle, but I would have liked it to be presented a bit better. It would have been great if that breakthrough happened when Tokio and Macht were fighting each other near the end. Having Weisheit interrupt that fight was stupid, and also rush the story along to finish a deadline, ultimately not delivering the impact and enjoyment it could have had. Ciel, Tokio, and Macht were the biggest positive takeaways from the series. Weisheit was also a decent villain overall. Unfortunately, Synduality Noir falls flat for me. Outside of those few positives, everything else felt basic, by the book, and there weren't enough risks taken, oftentimes choosing the safe option over a better one. That doesn't even include the fact that neither of the biggest characters, Kanata and Noir, made a positive impact or improvement within the show from parts 1 and 2. Kanata never really improves in any way as a character. There isn't really any growth or much depth added to him throughout the entirety of Synduality Noir. He's just a below average basic character at best, who just felt like a side character with a slightly larger role. Similarly with Noir, I could say the exact same thing. Noir has her own brief character arc, experiencing an identity crisis. Who is she, and is she helpful to anybody? Noir sees all these other people committed to their goals, Kanata and Mystere wanting to reach Histoire, Tokio doing his own thing, usually in the shadows, and even Kanata's friends determined in helping him reach his goal. Their determination and drive inspires her to find something she likes and be the best that she can be. Now that Ciel's body is hers, who is she and what does she want to do with her life? Noir picked up Ciel's singing as she felt compelled to do that. In this arc, Noir is searching for her sense of self and fittingly finding her own voice. You know, since she's singing, get it? It's a difficult time for her. She feels useless and does not know what to do. Is she just Data or a part of Mystere, Ciel, or her own individual person? There was even a moment where it seemed like both Ciel and Noir were singing together, a nice touching scene, especially since Ciel is a character that I liked. The show attempted to pull on the viewer's heartstrings a bit with that arc, but it wasn't enough to distract me from thinking Noir was mediocre. This small arc involves her and what she should do with this new life granted to her, but it never fully changed my opinion of Noir, with me still not really caring for her. It's a decent arc, but doesn't reach its potential, probably because of Noir just not being an interesting character and how she acts in general. Noir and Kanata's relationship dynamic was nowhere near as good as Kanata and Mystere's. I didn't think the latter's relationship was anything special either. Now, since Synduality Noir is an anime original idea, what's the future look like? Who knows? With Part 2's conclusion, the humans on board Histoire were forced to flee, while Mystere remained to keep it safe. Kanata and his friends are still working hard trying to return to Histoire with their limited resources, so there's definitely a storyline there that's possible to adapt. As for Ideal, it seems like Macht has taken over and there's a change in their philosophy. There's always the potential that somebody within the organization attempts to oppose him, or a new group arrives altogether to contest Kanata and his friends. The story ended in a spot that's fine, and I don't fully expect there to be more adapted, but there is the potential for more. Synduality Noir had potential, and at times throughout Season 2 you can visibly see parts of the show try to reach it, but as a whole it never fully delivers. Some parts were done well, but others poorly. The word I keep finding myself saying about Synduality Noir is that it is okay, so it gets an okay rating of a 6.5 out of 10. Synduality Noir falls into the something in between category. I'd say part 2 is a bit better than part 1, but not good enough to warrant a better rating, actually getting the exact same rating as part 1. Now that episode 4 of GGS has concluded, here are the ratings for all the contestants thus far. Ida My Elf is still in the lead, Synduality Noir has gotten 2 ratings of 6.5, and Butareba is in last. I'm still on the hunt for the first anime I'd say is actually a hidden gem for this series. Hopefully one shows up soon, preferably the next contestant. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next installment of GGS.